all of you out there, mga higala, ako nagapasalamat kaninyo sa pag-uban ninyo kanako niining serye, Set Up a Bright Future. It is always my hope and living desire na kita makakuha og mga mabulunganong mga butang ug mga insights sa atong mga topiko nga igahatag kaninyo. I repeat, mga kaigsunan, mga higala, o mga minahal, set up a bright future is a mandate. Usa ka mando, busa akong balikon, nga kining mando nagagikan pa sa panahon sa atong unang mga ginikanan kay Adam o kay Eva. Gani, balikon ko, Genesis 5:1 and 2 says, this is the family of Adam. When God created human beings, He made them in His own likeness. He created them male and female. And on that day, He blessed them and named them human beings. Mga higala, kung ang Ginoo nagapanalangin, it signifies, or He signifies the best for you and me. In fact, iyang gihatag ang tanan nga mga butang nga gikinahanglan sa usa ka tawo. Gani, mahibawaan nato didto or nahibawaan nato didto sa creation theory nga gi-create sa Ginoo ang mga basic nga mga butang o human atong mga basic na butang, langit, yuta, mga plants, mga animals, mga pagkaon, iyahang gibuhat dayon ang tawo. So that all the relevant things that human beings needed were provided so that men or humans will continue to live. Basically, God desired that humans will thrive, mabuhi, with easiness, completeness, and happiness. With the perfect conditions, when God declared His creatures good, ang problema, ang sala, migawas, which caused humans to stumble. The wonderful status of life nga natagamtaman sa atong mga ginikanan, unang mga ginikanan, were put into misery, which resulted to the defeat of the purpose kung nganong gibuhat sa Ginoo ang tao. But even then, tungod sa iyahang dakong gugma, sa iyahang gibuhat, God provided the plan of redemption, that from the pit that we are in, through the wonderful ministry of Jesus. Busa iyahang gi-assured nga bisan pa taliwala sa kasalanan, taliwala sa kalisod, iyang gi-assured kita. Pinaagi sa Jeremiah 29:11. He said, I say this because I know what I am planning for you, says the Lord. I have good plans for you, not plans to hurt you. Dili taka mo pasakitan. But I will give you hope and good future. Busa mga higala, kining set up a bright future nga serye, will deal with the basics of life. Kanong mga mahinungdanong mga butang para sa kinabuhi. Mga suggestions o mga reminders kung unsaon nato nga mga katawhan mamahimong madinaugon o magkinabuhi o magmalipayon sa atong panginabuhi. Luyo ni ining this sinful world. Today, we'll dwell on the topic, parent matters. Mga kaigsunan, parent matters. God created and blessed our first parents with children. Genesis 5 records our first parents' family. Genesis 5:1 and 2 says, when God created human beings, He made them in His own likeness. He created them male and female. And on that day, He blessed them and named them human beings. God does not only created human beings. Wala siya nga pag-create niya sa katawhan or sa atong una nga mga ginikanan. Wala niya gipasagdan. But He made it sure that they are in His own likeness, meaning humans has the attributes of God's. You know, God was so concerned to all of us. That is the implication. Not only that we were created in His likeness, but blessed us and named us completely different from animals. That is why we are called humans. So and later, God proclaimed this to Noah in Genesis 9:1. He said, how many children grow in number and fill the earth? My beloved, along with the mandate of humans is a blessing. Pagkatawo na to, wala naghunong ang paghigugma sa Ginoo. Parent matters, mga kaigsunan. Busa kita nga mga ginikanan atong huna-hunaon, nga dili lang kita ginikanan pagkahuman na to, pagpanganak na to sa atong mga anak. Kita gimanduan sa Ginoo nga atong amumahon. We have to take care of our children. Parents and those who are contemplating to be one, let us all the time consider that parent matters. Yes, what will become of our children depends much on us. We are the big factor of who our children will be. Naagid tayo dako nga kalabutan kung unsa nga klase ang atong mga kabataan sa umalabot. Proverbs 22:6 nagaingon, train children to live the right way, and when they are old, they will not stray from it. Mga kaigsunan, kini very profound. Na kinahanglan, we have to train our children the right way. Ibutang diha, the right way, mga kaigsunan. I'd like to emphasize that. And that is why parents have a noble mandate. Na dili lang kita magpasagad. Naatay dagko nga mga responsibilidad bilang ginikanan. Bilang ginikanan, atong pagahuna-hunaon that we have responsibilities to take care of. Parenthood plays a very important role in the wholesome performance of the children. Innate to parents are their desire to succeed in parenting, hoping all the best for their children. Physical, mental excellence, social excellence, and spiritual excellence. This we call balanced development. But this is easier to say than done. We live today in a world provided with comforts through the revolution of scientific inventions in matters like communication, transportation, industry, commerce, ug uban pa. But along with these comforts are the deteriorating values. Naatay daghan ng mga comforts, pero ang atong mga values medyo nagakahinay na. Humanness, work ethics, beliefs, and faith in God, medyo nabawasan na. Gani, kung dili nabawasan, murag wala na ta nagatuo sa atong mga faith, sa atong faith in God. That is why it is in this premise that parenting today is a challenge. Oo, ang usa ka ginikanan or ang mga ginikanan malipay kung anaa sila'y mga panalangin ng mga anak. Pero luyo sa panalangin sa mga kabatanunan, ang luyo niini, ang kalisod sa pagpadako, pag-maintain sa values, o paghatag sa ilahang mga rightful nga mga kinahanglan, lisod para sa ginikanan, hilabi na karon sa atong kapanahunan. Kaninga pisa, gikuha nako sa ministries sa Southern Asia Pacific Division on the article E.G. White on Balanced Christian Parenting. E.G. White has her own piece of advice to all of us when she says, what is the great aim and object of their children's education? Is it to fit them for life and its duties, to qualify them to take an honorable position in the world, to do good, to benefit their fellow beings, to gain eventually the reward of the righteousness? If so, then the first lesson to be taught them is self-control. For no undisciplined, headstrong person can hope for success in this world or reward in the next. Busa mga kaigsunan, self-control daw ang pinakauna nga dapat atong maikalkate sa mga panghuna-huna sa atong mga kabatanunan. Self-control or ginatawag nato nga discipline is the basic thing to deal off. There are many who has the potential to become leaders, successful entrepreneurs, but fail to be such because of undisciplined spirit. Kani mga kaigsunan, kung walay self-control, kung walay disiplina, bisan unsa ka pa kamaayo nga tawo. So parents' role is to make sure children learned at home the values of disciplined character. Muna siya nga, naiiskwilahan na mo sa unang ginaingon nga, the school that trains character, mga kaigsunan. Because character is foremost. Mausap kini, as parents, we should instill into the minds of our children the word self-control or discipline. Ellen White further says, be purposeful. Neglect of duty, injudicious indulgence, failure to restrain or correct the follies of youth will result in unhappiness and finally ruin the children and disappointment and anguish to the parents. You know, kung dili nato matagaan or madisiplina ang atong mga anak, magabalik kini kanato. We will have children who will become dysfunctional, their sorrow and joy. Gani, akong gina-appreciate that parenting does not end when these children have their own lives already. Right? We need to become counselors of our children to make sure that the values and the beliefs of our children will also continue to progress. Modesty aside, my wife has been into careful discipline with our two boys. My wife is not perfect, but I really appreciate her. I really appreciate how she deals with our two boys. And God blessed the effort. By His grace, we have growing children today with such wonderful values the church can be proud of. We keep praying for them, of course, because parenthood is lifetime. So children must be taught to obey from an early age when their physical, mental, social, and emotional dependency are upon their parents. And so I always, and we always attribute the success that we are experiencing now to get with our children. Rem is a medical doctor, while Franz is a practice development nurse at Oxford University Hospital today. So we have children who are being brought up by parents, not perfect, but God blessed our efforts, especially with the effort of my wife, Letty. Added counsel from Mrs. White, she says, mothers, you should train your children to yield to your wishes. This point must begin if you would hold the control over your children and preserve your dignity as a mother. Your children will quickly learn as what you expect of them. They know when their will conquers yours and will make the most of their victory. Child Guidance 91.2. These words written by Mrs. White has its enhancement in the books used by the educators and philosophers today, particularly in child education and child learning. Child's mind should be fed with relevant things that should serve as guide for their thoughts and actions while growing. Though many scientists and philosophers believed that the young mind is capable of processing sensory input, control motor actions, regulate emotions, and respond reflexively, this programmed mechanism in the brain subsequently act to learn and refine the ability of the organism. But psychologist Steven Pinker showed that in contrast to written language, the brain is hardwired at birth to acquire spoken language. Today, based on our classes, when you are studying children and philosophy, you will learn the word tabula rasa. Tabula rasa in English means clean slate. Tabula rasa proponents believe, sila nagatuo, nga sa pagkatawo sa usa ka bata, ang paghunahuna or ang brain sa bata walay sulod. Masudlan ra kini sa iyahang mga eksperyensya, sa iyahang mga perception. But on the contrary, naapoy ginatawag nga beliefs or philosophy that is called innatism. Kaning mga proponents sa innatism nagatuo nga sa pagkatawo sa bata, ang iyahang mind ana-anay sulod, innate, From the word innate, ana-anay sulod pagkatawo pa lang sa bata. So, dili na gikinahanglan o i-enhance, something like that. Okay? So, whatever philosophy is higher or advanced, I still believe. And I fully believe that a child needs rightful examples of what a rightful citizen should be. And this will be done by rightful parents. In education, one learning is through of mimicking and repetition. Children mimic and repeat those experiences and learning that are pleasant. And so, maingon ako, mga parent matters gayon. Pero may naalay precaution. Upon teaching the children, parents must model the rightful habits at home, self-control in food, temperance, and passion. Ato ng paghahuna-hunahon maayong mga kaigsunan. Mrs. White says, the scolding and fault-finding of parents encourages a hasty, passionate temper in children or in their children. Parents must understand their struggles to face powerful distractions around them and make them feel that they are not alone. Ang mamahimong ginikanan dili daling, hilabi na karong mga panahon. Parenting is a teamwork that need to be agreed upon by both parents. Failing to teaming up for effective parenting purpose may cause confusion and non-complying and rebellious attitude in children. Mrs. Whiteford says, uniform firmness and an unimpassioned control are necessary to the discipline of every family. When both parents are teamed up, their effort always yields and greater result will be produced. Mga kaigsunan, sa pagdisiplina o paghatag o mga values sa atong mga anak, kikinahanglan na na-uniformity ang bana o asawa. Letter B of parent matters is true education. Parent matters in the education of their children. What education degree or courses and what life the children will assume depends upon the guidance of parents in what education they will undergo. Busa, ikinahanglan kung atong tagaan og edukasyon ang atong mga kabatanunan, let us try to think hard the best education ug unsa nga klase nga edukasyon ang atong igahatag kanila. Usa, si Ellen White nagaingon, ang true education is the harmonious development of the physical, the mental, and the spiritual powers. It prepares the students for the joy of service in this world and for the higher joy of wider service in the world to come. Right at the start, the Bible has given us where and how education is done for the youth. Mga kaigsunan, ang mga ginikanan, akong giawhag, na atong pagbabasahon ang mga sinulat ni Ellen White, daghan kayo siya mga sinulat. Dili lang sa atong mga philosophy o mga sociology books or education books, but Ellen White has a lot of books pertaining to the education of our youth. Particularly that book, Education. Okay? Makakuha kita og mga important things, mga important lessons on how to take care of our children and how to grow them to become rightful citizens, to be having bright future. The record is found in 2 Kings 6, 1-5. We know pretty well the story of Jared and his friends. You know, asa dapat nato paeskwelahan ang atong mga anak. Ang Biblia anay example. Jared and his friends came to the school manned by Elisha the prophet. He was called the teacher. This is found in 2 Kings 6, 1-5. The school was known the school of the prophets. They have their classrooms, dormitories, and the church. Their values of obedience, unity, collaboration, faith, and belief were taught. Just what rightful parents did to their children at home, and that school enhances their home learning. Now, this is the reason why we have our own schools here in the Philippines and around the world. For example, we have SPAC, we have MVC, AUP, CPAC, AMCC, ACT, to name a few. These schools are patterned with the school of the prophets. Though offering different courses, there is that structured curriculum that teach students the values of obedience, unity, collaboration, faith, and belief on top of the different courses. This is the education for life. Education for life doesn't only confine to the secular courses that prepares one for livelihood and job, but it goes beyond learning for the life here and the future. It prepares the students, according to Ellen White, for the joy of service in this world and for the higher joy of wider service in the world to come. When our children were on their fragile, fresh, open mind, they were taught of education based on biblical principles. God's law was taught foremost. They were told that the law is God's love written in concrete way so as to preserve the beauty and wonderful essence of life. Let us say, wholesome performance of the child. Parent matters, my friends, for the wholesome performance of the child. Desired wholesome performance of the child will be met upon the parents' adherence to God's mandate. When parents love God, children love God as well. Again, Proverbs 22:6. Train children to live the right way, and when they are old, they will not stray from it. It's the basic rule in parents' roles. Performance of the child depends on how she has disciplined herself in all areas. Mental alertness depends upon her adherence to the laws of nature. Observing rightful study habits, sleep, temperance in worthwhile activities, and abstinence to what is not right. Her social and spiritual maturity depends on what rightful values, ethics, norms, and beliefs she adheres to. So, let's be reminded, parents, that wholesome performance of a child is not only confined in academics, nor his possession and wealth she will accumulate in life, but she will be the person ready to serve God, church, and humanity. Obedience is the key. Parents, we have the best, or we are the authority in making our children obedient. Obedient to parents, obedient to God, will create wonderful products for our children. As parents, we always desire to make our children productive and functional citizens. This desire is always coupled with responsibility. Responsible parenthood does not contend for mediocrity. Responsible parents make sure that the children entrusted to them by God will always reach their potentials to become a blessing for the community, for the church, and for God. That is why parents are obliged to move heaven and earth and to give their best for the education of their children. Parents need to do sacrifices. We call this altruism for their children's sake. Strive hard to counter all odds, physical, mental, and financial constraints to provide the relevant education their children needs, the education for life. At our schools, like SKAC and other Adventist institutions, we believe that Jesus is the exemplar of holistic excellence. We have the mission to prepare people for God's kingdom by integrating the distinct Seventh-day Adventist faith into the academic learning rooted in the gospel of Jesus Christ, and commission students to live a meaningful and productive life of service for church and society. These emblems of South Philippine Adventist College, one of the schools here in South Philippine Union Conference, anchored on what the Bible says of the duties and responsibilities of parents and teachers, the total training of the child, best in physical, best in mental, social, and spiritual performance. A child who believes, lives, and exemplifies Christ's life attains wholesome performance. Beloved, truly, parent matters. See you tomorrow, and God bless.